Hello everyone, welcome to the video. I'm Braden and we're going to look at assembling the Draco CVDs. So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone so much for your orders. The parts have arrived a few days ago, so I'm just waiting on some pins and then I will ship these out. The diff cases will be a few more weeks, unfortunately, due to some issues. They're not up to spec and there's some deformation and features are incorrect. Anyway, so let's have a look at these. So I will be shipping the CVDs like this. So if you ordered 24mm hexes, this is how they will look. If you ordered 17, this is how they will look. They are just lightly assembled, so you will need to disassemble them and add grease and Loctite where necessary. I will also show you how to do that, or how I do that. Right, so let's get started. Okay, so let's take a look at the CVDs and just a few things to note. First, if you ordered the 24mm hexes, one of these pins will be 24mm long. If you ordered the 17, you will have two 17mm long pins. Okay, so second thing, these set screws. So there are two 4x4mm set screws, but they have a correct location in the assembly. So although I've assembled them correctly, when you take them out and Loctite everything, make sure the set screws go in the right place. So let me show you. This one is a cup point set screw. You can see the tip is quite different. This is supposed to go here in the joint coupler to capture this pin in this joint, okay? The second one is a flat point set screw, and this will go here in the drive shaft to capture this pin. It has a flat area here. But if you, in the future, if you choose to change out this pin and just use the stock off-the-shelf 3x16 pin like this, a little shorter of course, you'll have to change to a cup point set screw, okay, to capture the shaft. So make sure you do that when you change the pin. But if it's a flat area like this, the flat point set screw will work fine. Okay, so now that's out of the way, let's start assembly. Okay, so during the manufacturing process, the parts kind of have this oil on them. So the first thing you should do is make sure you clean off all this oil, off all the threads. So I'm just using this Tamiya RC cleaner to degrease, and I also do the set screws. And then go a step further and give them a wipe down, just like this, and like this, right? And then 2.5mm wrench, clean that off, okay? So make sure they're clean. I could also do this. Just watch your eyes with the stuff. Be careful. Right, and then I will let that dry before I start assembling. Okay, so first what I'm going, oh yeah, sorry, this part here. Here we go. Just get this thread clean. Here we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so now the parts have dried off a little bit. I'm going to start by assembling the pin into the drive shaft. So I'm going to get my wrench, make sure it's a flat point set screw, this one, and I'm going to apply some 263 Loctite to this. There we go. Okay, insert the pin. Gotta try and get this reasonably even here. Screw it in. Oops, still a little wet. So just make sure, for video purposes that's okay, but when you're assembling, make sure that it's totally dry. There's no cleaner left on there before you start assembling. Okay, and with these ones, I've added this flat point here, so when you tighten these down, you can actually grip it much better and apply torque. So I'm just going to, it's tight now, so I'm going to give it another maybe 1/8 to a quarter turn until it's tight. And also I recommend regularly checking these pins after running because they could come undone. So if you Loctite this and leave it for at least 24 hours, you shouldn't have a problem. But yeah, I haven't, but you may have one, so please regularly check this is tight. Okay, so now that's assembled. Next, we'll get the joint coupler and we'll do the same thing. So this time, make sure you have the 4x4 set screw that has the cup point on it, okay? And let's apply some Loctite. Here we go. And I will put this into the joint coupler till about here. You don't want it to stick out. There we go. Okay, now I use this anti-wear grease from Tamiya and I apply this here. Kind of provides a coating on the parts. You could run them dry, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just a little bit, okay? And then I'm going to slide it into the drive shaft. Here we go. Move it around a bit. Okay, let's get this rag. All right, so that's in there. Next, I will apply some grease on the drive shaft ball. Here, here, and here, and here. Maybe a little here. And you can make sure that this is clean. You could even spray the inside of this down if you wanted. Make sure it's a clean surface. And then put this on and slide one of these through. Okay. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so that's in. Now you can tighten the screw down through one of these holes, but you can also get to it from here. Not perfectly, but I would recommend going in through one of the holes. Okay, so once again, I'm going to tighten it until it doesn't move anymore. And now I'm going to apply maybe quarter turn. There we go. Must be quite tight. This is quite important. And then move the parts around to spread that grease out. Okay, so I'm just using this hub for an example. Yeah, so you would install the CVD axle into the bearings. Now, depending on your setup, you may need to add shims. Hopefully, you will need to add shims. If not, you may need to ground some of this material off so there's a little play. But it should be okay. Right. Then put the pin through here. Let's have a look. See, there is a little plate. I think that's too much. Right. So let's look at adding some shims. So let's see. I'll add a couple of 0.2mm shims. So these are 8 by 10mm shims, and they come in 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3mm thick. So I will add 2 0.2mm shims first. Put on the hex again. And that might be too much. Okay, I'll take off one and we'll see. Okay, put that on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. So we have cleaned these set screws, remember? So this one's ready for some blue Loctite. In this case I'm using 243, Loctite 243. Let's get this going. Just a little bit there. Okay. And screw this into the axle. Okay. And you can get your spanner and put this here. Tighten. Not too tight. There we go. Alright. Just a 1/16 of a turn, I guess. 1 hour maybe. And then remember the wheel will be on here and it will also capture the pin, so you have a backup just in case. Alright. And there we go. Now it's assembled. And then you would install this into your Savage or Super 5SC and you're good to go. Actually first I would apply some grease on these pins, maybe a little here on both sides. This will just help with friction. There we go. Okay, now you're good to go. Yeah, and please remember, keep an eye on this pin and this set screw, make sure it stays tight. And also check here as well, make sure this pin stays tight. I haven't had an issue. The only issue I had was when the out drives were very worn, it was creating binding in the drive shaft, so this pin kept coming out. But once that binding went away, once I replaced it, the pin stayed in the assembly, so you probably won't have any issues. Okay, so that is how we assemble the Draco CVDs. If you have any questions, please post a comment, send me an email. I'll be happy to help you out. Yeah, and thank you very much for your purchase, and enjoy, and yeah, see you in the next video.